What's going on, Canfield Nation? Welcome back, Coca's Pizza. Another week, and this one's a special one, Coach. You win the regional semifinal against Ursuline at Niles at Bo Ryan Stadium by a final of 33-25. It was a fantastic ball game from start to finish. We were just talking a little bit. You knew you had to play well against the Irish, who were one of the top teams in this region, and your team did so last Friday night.
Yeah, really excited and really proud of our guys and how hard they fought for 48 minutes. And, even when we got up 27-6 in the second quarter, Richie, we knew it was going to be a 48-minute battle, and it certainly was.
I don't know if you felt the same thing, but pregame, I was able to watch your guys warm up, get ready to go. It was pouring down rain, the worst conditions you've played in all season long, but they did not seem to be affected by that. They were ready to go. They were in rhythm throughout their pregame stretches and warm up. Did you kind of feel that same thing down there in the field as well?
Absolutely. All week long we had a great week of prep for Ursuline, and then we always talk about don't let the weather, the officiating, anything else affect the outcome of the game other than you. And giving your best effort, and if it's good enough, then we'll win. If not, and then we're not going to win the football game. But certainly, it shouldn't be because of weather or officiating or who's in the stands and the outside factors. Is what happens on the football field for 48 minutes.
And I didn't think the weather had a big impact on the football game from your side of things, because Brock was still able to effectively throw the football throughout the night. So I was really impressed with the way, even when it was pouring down rain, you could barely see. We got some pictures of you soaking wet down there on the sideline, but I didn't think it had too much of an effect from your standpoint in the way that the football game played out.
No, it didn't. Both teams were playing it, and our guys did a great job last week throwing wet footballs, catching wet footballs, and we've thrown in the wind before this year, and again, we were able to execute at a high level, and that's all we ask our kids to do.
It was big right off the jump. You get that big run by Scotty Eaton on that fly sweep there. You take the early lead and you get a lot of confidence. There was a lot of bickering back and forth about who's going to win this football game. First time since 1984 meeting the Ursuline Irish. It was huge to come out and get that big play from Scotty Eaton to open things up and get you the early lead.
Yeah, no doubt. Again, credit our offensive line. Block, and Don Marzano had the key block on the edge and sprung Scotty down the field. Jack Davis a block as wide out on their corner, and that one set us up for a touchdown. But our kids were full of confidence all week long, thought that if we played our football at the level that we expect to play at, we'd have a great shot of winning, and it came out that way.
We talked about it last week. Ursuline was big up front, very big, probably the biggest 5 guys you faced all season long. But your defense was very tough. Just talk about that a little bit. They didn't, get intimidated by the guy that was across from them. They played hard all night.
Coach Hurley and his staff on the defensive side do a great job of scheming other teams up and putting our guys in a position to be successful. And, the one thing we know about the Canfield kid since I've been here, it's never about physicality. We're going to be a physical football team. It's just whether or not we're going to play smart.
And then another thing that, caught me by surprise is that he barely let up any big plays. That was one of your keys to the game.
No doubt.
DC had that big catch there late on, but that was probably their biggest play. It looked like at some point, Christian Lynch, who was getting about 3-4 yards a pop, you kind of felt that maybe he would break one loose. Never happened.
Yeah, again, and, he got one there in the fourth quarter, about 15 yards or so, and the Erickson kid had a 50-yard run, but that was it. They were averaging probably 6-7 explosive plays a game, not just for touchdowns, but 15 yards or more.
Yeah.
And I think we gave up 3, and we were really pleased with that. But you're right. Every time Christian touched the football, every time they threw the ball to DC or to was it Will Turney? I believe his name
Will
is.
Burney,
Will Burney, thank you. You just held your breath.
Yeah.
Because you never knew what was going to happen. And again, credit our guys for being great tacklers in space.
Oh, exactly. I mean, they had so many athletes, Burney, Manning, DC, Christian Lynch, but your guys were able to tackle at a very high level, especially in space. There was a couple of situations where they got the ball out into the flats, but your corners made some outstanding open field tackles. Talk about the jump you've seen from those guys outside, because, maybe week 2, 3, they were missing a couple of those, but, now we're in week 14. They're starting to make some really big plays out there.
Our secondary has really grown up. Brock is our only returning starter back there, and certainly he deserves a lot of credit for, getting our kids mentally ready to play, help them out during the game. And but Anthony Mazzella, the other safety, and then our corners, Jack Fabry, a senior, and Scotty Eaton and Paul Bindus, the juniors, have really grown since game one. And where we're at right now is night and day, and we better take another jump this Friday night if we want to win.
Yeah, talking about that jump, there was a lot of penalties throughout the ball game. I get it was a little bit wet and slippery, but the special teams unit had a couple of offsides penalties there. So when you look back, I'm guessing that's an emphasizing point during this week of practice.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got to line up properly. The first couple of plays in the game, we didn't have wide receivers on the football like they should have been, and just a mental error that can't happen. Special teams, you're right. The kickoff unit, I think we were offside once or twice, and again, that can't happen. And we've got to clean up penalties if we want to try and advance Friday night.
Let's put a bow on that game real quick. You get past Ursuline. It was such an emotional victory. We appreciate your time afterwards for talking with Mike, and he'll be out there again this Friday against Chardon. We'll have the call here on YSN. But the huddle after the game, the celebration with all the fans, the student section, and then the celebration in the locker room, that had to be one of the top 5 moments as a coach for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not too sure where it ranks. Obviously, when I'm old and retired, we'll figure that one out. But certainly, the Niles people, I want to give a shout out to Jimbo Perry and his staff and the Niles Booster Club. The way they treated us in their locker room was first class. And after the game, we got caught on the field a little bit longer than we wanted to, as far as Brock and the offensive lineman doing interviews, myself talking to the media. And I walked in, and Jimbo Perry was talking to our guys about how special a place Bo Ryan is, and that we had added a legacy there, a storied game there. And, the locker room certainly was, something to behold. Our kids all smiles. And, like we talked, we're going to enjoy it Friday night, Saturday morning, and then Saturday afternoon, turn our attention to Chardon.
Yeah, got to turn that page quick. Chardon, back-to-back state champions. They've won 15 consecutive playoff matches, and you get the revenge here because they've knocked you out the last 2 years, but this is a senior class, 28 of them. The majority of them have stood on the sideline during one of those games. Kind of talk about where the mental aspect is for your group of seniors right now, knowing that, hey, this team's gotten us twice, but we finally do get a third crack at them.
Yeah, I think that our guys, they know to get out of our region, eventually you're going to play Chardon. Chardon is the class of Division III in the state the last 2 years, and historically one of the best football programs in Northeast Ohio. The 90s, the 2000s, the last 10, 12 years, where they may not have won state titles before the last 2 years. They won some back in the 1990s, but historically been in the playoffs. They're a team that you have to beat to move on in the playoffs, and our guys understand that. So I think more than anything else, they're excited to play for a regional title, an opportunity to hopefully advance. But it's against Chardon. That's the team in their way, and as Chardon has the last 2 years, like you said, they've gotten the best of us, and our guys are excited for that challenge again.
Chardon this year a little bit younger, especially on the offensive line, but with that wing T and the variations that they're able to run out of it, it's always a very difficult offense to stop. So I know that with the 2 years, and you've seen wing T along your time here at Canfield and other places. What are some problems do you think that Chardon may present offensively?
Oh, they present a lot of problems. Their quarterback number one, Alex Henry, is a 2-year starter. Probably they're one of their best, if not the best athletes. The Bruce kid, number one, is an all-state DB. He's also a slot wing form that runs the jet sweep really, really well. And up front, they may be young, but they've improved tremendously from game one to where they are right now. And the biggest problem we've got is we can't look in the backfield. A lot of teams in the wing T want to look into the backfield. If you do that, they're magicians with the football. You'll never find it. No. You've got to be able to lock in on your keys and trust what they're doing and trying to defeat your guy.
And then you look at the defensive side of the ball for the Hilltoppers. It's a team just like yours, allowing just over 10 points per game so far this season. They got a couple guys returning back that were first-team All-Ohio last year on the edges, and one at their linebacking position as well. So, it's going to be a tough defense. Ursuline was a very good
Yeah.
defense. And is this where you kind of rely on some of your senior guys like Brock and them to kind of lead the way?
You always rely on your seniors. That's number one, Richie. Number two, this is the best defense we've played. No disrespect to Ursuline because they were fantastic.
Yep.
But this team is a different animal. The three guys they got up front that manhandle everybody. Number 9, Cooper Felger. Number 0, I think his name's Alex Nisley. And I'm not even going to try and pronounce number 2's name.
I'm not either.
Caleb something. It was just a wonderful, wonderful player. And those guys are strong. They're thick, they're fast, and they're very, very violent when they come make a tackle.
And this could be a big game for your program on Friday night. Second regional final in the last 3 years now. In 2020, you played them at their place in the regional final. Now you're playing at a neutral site at Ravenna. You know it's going to be a cold night, but Canfield Nation is going to show up, and they're going to show out. Only a 45-minute drive up there. So how much does this fan base help? I know it was really bad conditions last week, but they were still out there, and they were loud from start to finish.
No doubt. We appreciate the Canfield fans, like you said, Cardinal Nation coming out, our student body, our community. It's just it's great to go on a Friday night on the road. And when you enter the stadium for the game, you're looking at a couple thousand people that have your back.
Win or lose, what are some of the things you're going to tell your guys after the game?
I've not even gotten that far.
Okay.
Because if we're thinking after the game already, we're going to be beat. We need to focus on what we can do every minute of the day, to give ourselves the best chance to win.
Coach, we ask every week, what are the 3 keys?
We got to be able to control the football. We didn't last week. We lost the turnover battle. Not the turnover battle, but lost the time of possession battle, I should say. And last year in the first half, Chardon ran 37 plays to our 17. Wow. That can't happen. We've got to be able to stay on the field offensively, keep their offense off the field. That's number 1. And to do that, it leads into number 2. You got to be able to run the football. The team that can run it better has a great chance of winning this thing. And then great special teams play. They've got tremendous kickers up there, and like they always have, and they've got different types of kickoffs and different type of punt formations. And, we've got to be able to adjust to what they're doing to us so we can win that hidden yardage battle.
Coach, we appreciate your time as always. It's been a fun 13 weeks thus far. We're hoping to get back to state for the first time since 2005. We appreciate you. We wish you nothing but the best on Friday night. It's going to be a fun one. Canfield Chardon 1 against 2 on Friday. We'll have it here on YSN. We'll be back with Nicola Coca coming up next here from Coca's Pizza.